potentially for the sign, potentially, because that wasn't the case with other situations like that. But I decided I don't have the time at this point, so I wanted to go back and put the 30-inch signs on the window. Because
okay.
it's it's not
Just
enough.
the two big windows?
The two big windows.
What about the doors? Because we
Nothing
talked
on the
about that on
doors.
the sign. Nothing on
Right,
the doors.
nothing on the doors. Now, the two on the doors they're only 12 inches. It's
Yeah.
too small, it's not enough presence.
Yeah.
And without a sign above, it's not enough.
Okay.
And so I just thought, I'll do this, and perhaps I'll revisit the physical sign down the road.
Hi, Craig.
Hey, Al, how are you?
Nice to see you.
You too.
So Al, you were.
Wait.
Oh.
All right, meeting is now in order.
I'm sorry, I thought I was being asked to go and explain.
At 8:08.
And that's probably Andrew who's coming in now. So we met on the site last week, and what is on the last page of this is what we're talking about.
All right, so, before we go any further, do I have a motion concerning seeker?
I'll make a motion that it's type 2.
Second?
I will second that. Thank you.
You're just in time for the first one. We had a motion for it to be a type 2 seeker application. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, Greg,
Start again?
start again.
All right, when we met on site, we were discussing the physical sign hanging above the center of the door and two 30-inch logos affixed to the windows, vinyl logos. I was asked to move the sign down off of the residential portion of the building. I tried to explain that it was only the post that was gonna be on above the dark area, as it's pictured here, and the sign would hang into this area. But what happens is if you bring this down closer to the awning, the sign has to either get smaller or travel out further so that it stays outside of the operation of the awning. So I was asked to go to the village because currently the village owns right up to the door.
The stoop.
The stoop.
Hmm.
So if anything overhangs that stoop, I have to get the village board on board with that. So I just kind of abandoned that idea for now, and I'd like to go back. At that meeting, we discussed if I had this sign that we could take these vinyl signs and put them on the door instead of having such a big presence on the windows. But I think without a physical sign, that's just not enough visibility at all, so I just wanted to, that's about scaled as good as I could do it.
Yeah.
And it's sort of in the color scheme, I don't know if that's under your jurisdiction,
Yep.
okay.
No
No
colors.
problem.
So, that's what I'm asking for, simply to return to doing just the windows. Now again, I have absolutely no plans right now for that physical sign, we'll see,
Okay.
but I maybe come back to that at a future date.
All right.
So we'll simply have to note it on there.
Yeah, we'll just note it on. All right, so, the application is for vinyl sign applied to the two large windows. The bracket and the projecting sign has been withdrawn. Do I have a motion to approve the application as modified?
I would move to accept it as modified.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done,
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll be up when you leave.
You'll be open.
Just kidding. Working on it.
Oh,
Working towards it.
wait, did you say you'll be open?
I said it will be up when you leave.
Oh.
Thank you. Hi, Judy.
Carolyn,
Good to
did
see you all.
you
Nice seeing
make
you,
the
Craig.
motion to?
I made the secret motion.
Okay,
I
Sean
seconded.
seconded.
okay.
I made the approval motion.
Hello. Guess I'm the next victim.
Are you ready, or do you need a moment? We're
You are
My
next,
defense attorney is coming.
3 minutes ahead of schedule.
Wow, okay, I don't want to slow guys down.
you are next, yes. No.
Hello, everybody.
We have no footprints.
Everybody, only friends we haven't met yet. That's right.
Oh, my God.
Alright,
So this is, hopefully straightforward, situation, but who knows? So I went to the zoning board, and I got approvals for 6 feet, except for my neighbors, 4 feet, which is, actually, I kinda went back in and said 4 feet is fine, so. So now it's, historic board, so, I mean, all I'm looking for is a basic wood fence. I mean, I'll even take suggestions, but this is from Home Depot that I could see would do the job. It's 6 feet, it's got a little design there, but if you're against it, I'll take it away, and then the 4-foot one will just be sort of plain like that. And this is the gate in front. And the hardware that you have.
Oh, the gate is all the way back here.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, I got a picture, you're not really gonna see.
Can I
much
see
of
the,
it.
where the 6-foot fence was approved?
Oh, it's a pedestrian gate, it's not a vehicular gate.
I remember, it's,
Yeah, it's in the backyard.
Yeah.
on the, it's, the
Yeah.
site plan is here.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember when you were, maybe it was either as a material for your deck, or maybe it was even one of your windows. I was walking by when we were looking at it a while ago, and you can like barely see past like 5 feet off of the front of your house because of the way that this building comes into the
Yeah, I know,
corner.
he was-
Your sight lines are like really, really limited for being right in the middle of the village. I was surprised at how little
Yeah,
of
you'll be
your
able to see
property
the,
you could
you'll be
see.
able to see the fence and the gate part.
Right.
That little piece, you know, in the.
Yeah,
so-called
this you won't
driveway.
even probably see, I'll put a little something in front of it and it goes straight back and then,
Yeah.
and
Mhm,
then, so with Juhi, it's, you know, nobody sees that, so.
Yeah, that's true.
So this, in this design,
Yeah, it's this one right here. It's this exact one. It's the,
okay, so I guess going from,
well, whatever
when
the
you go
equivalent
from
is.
5 down to 4, it's not that this line and this line aren't necessarily
No,
gonna
no, I
line
just,
up, but
put that there so you
Okay.
see it. But-
I think that that's a better way of doing it than trying to do,
Is this the
move the
same
lattice
as,
line down. I think that would become
is this the
complicated.
same as that?
Yeah.
Okay, but the gate here
Oh,
is
the
the
gate's-
flat top and here it's a little round.
Yeah, open, I don't care. I mean,
Okay.
if you were preference.
And this is
The
the
hardware,
T-shape,
yeah, the gates.
hinge, yeah.
And then you wanted the,
Okay,
post to be in between this all.
yeah, wasn't the issue with the posts, if the posts are 6 foot, that's considered part of the fence? I guess the first question is that, what did the ZBA say?
Oh, well, I mean, they said, you know what, you're surrounded by commercial space, so as far as the 6 foot goes, as far as materials and stuff, they no comment on that.
No, okay, so in other words, you do have authorization for the 6 foot?
Yeah, because I'm surrounded by commercial buildings,
Mm-hmm.
you know, except for my neighbor. And so they said there was precedent for that, but, and this is the week before, they sort of tipped me off, they said, you know, look, on the residential side, it's, you know, usually 4, so I came back with that. And they were okay with it.
And this is the resolution from the ZBA.
And the gate will also be 6 feet?
Yes,
Okay. So everything except for the shared property line with, James and Jude, with number 5,
yeah, they actually,
is gonna be 6.
6, and they actually said because the gate's so far back that it's, they don't comment on it, so.
Okay.
Al, I think that the issue with, the posts was that when we were talking to, 14 Stone Street,
To Sailor.
yeah, we were, they were proposing, the posts on that fence were much higher than the surface of the fence itself. I don't know whether we would consider these cap, I mean, the way that this
No,
is
no,
shown, they're
I
shown as
mean,
caps more than they're
yeah,
shown as
because
extended posts.
Yeah, if you read this note over here, it says 4-foot fence, or the 4-foot fence is 4 foot, but the posts are the same as this one.
The same style, I'm sorry, not
Oh,
the same height.
Same height, okay.
Okay, is this the type of cap you're putting on it?
It actually comes with it, it's.
Oh, it comes with it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the Home Depot special, whatever they got. I'm not looking for anything amazing here at this point.
I mean, I think that this is a style of fence that we've approved elsewhere. We approved it directly across the street. Who's your neighbor across the street?
Well, Mr. Downey seems to own.
The
No,
one.
not Downey, the house next
oh,
door.
The house
I-
next door that
yeah.
abuts onto the driveway.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I saw, and I said, okay, it's fine, I mean, if you have preferences, fine, but,
I think that this is a good solution for giving the height that the applicant was looking for without it being fully opaque the whole height up, and it gives a little bit of airiness.
Okay, let's do secret.
Okay, do I have a motion concerning secret?
I move that it's type 2.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All right, I guess the question I have is that, according to this, the guidelines that we have right now, solid fences are not allowed. So the question becomes, are we going to make an exception or change that? Then we should probably do that knowing that we're changing that.
Well, this is a situation where it's between a commercial property and a residential property,
Okay,
I was gonna say, didn't we,
And I think we've approved them before.
yeah.
who was by the train tracks? They had a baby.
Yeah, Matt
I'm
and
forgetting their
Mrs.
name.
Matt. Yeah.
The house,
Yeah.
the house that used to have all the cats?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Matt the cat.
And we will not call it the cat house, cause
Can't
that's kinda gross.
Can't call it that.
Yeah,
no.
the fence
What
that
do
they
they
were
put there?
proposing was an
Right.
there was an air line in between it, but we
That's
did approve this fence with this construction at 4 feet directly across the street.
Yeah,
And
I
also
think that
there's-
the one that, and I think it's something like 35 is across the street, 32 or something like
Yeah.
that. That was done because property abuts the platform for
Mhm.
Metro North. And
Yeah.
so
Right.
it was, that was an issue of privacy.
But
I
there's,
guess the property that that abuts you, when you say it's commercial, what are the?
Here's some pictures here.
It's Romeo and Juliet on
Romeo
one
and
side.
Juliet,
Mhm.
which are very nice people, but, is this all the same? No. Yeah, so this is Romeo and Juliet
Mhm.
there. And there's another house right there, next to it, this is an apartment building. So look, I'm never gonna get complete privacy here, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, you'd have to
No one gets
very
privacy
tight.
here
But
now.
I'm just,
And
in
you'd
the
have no
back,
lights
it's
in the back,
covering,
yeah.
there's a parking lot that's covering cars and, headlights. And then on the side, it's just a lot of tumult because, there's a lot of people who live there. And they could use Main Street, but they use between our houses.
Oh, right, because the parking lot for the big red apartment building would,
Oh, the red
Back.
apartment
The red one
building
across from your
extends
house.
behind your house?
Yes.
Also, what?
Well, the parking lot.
Okay, so the parking lot and then
Yeah.
they
and
go
so
in and out of the back
I got houses
door.
on like one side and
Right.
then the parking lot on the other. So they said,
Wait, can I see your plan?
yeah, sure.
I just wanna see how much commercial you're surrounded by. Not that I'm on the zoning
Oh,
board,
it's a
but-
lot.
it's because it goes totally behind. This is
Okay, where-
Nora's.
Here's a street, here's
Where are
Furnace
you?
Street.
I'm losing track here.
Here's James and Juhi.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Not
Oh,
technically,
so
not really.
this is the red apartment
No.
building.
This
No?
is,
That's
this
my
is
house.
Mr. Sussman's house.
Oh, that is, okay. Oh, I see.
Okay,
This
so
is
this
the
is,
side of Romeo and Juliet.
that's Romeo and Juliet, and this
I'm
is the
gonna put this
back
way.
of
This is what I
the-
understand.
And this is the apartment building.
I got it, okay.
here, And then there's a lot here.
Okay.
which is a parking lot.
Yeah.
How weird, I didn't know it go, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's a lot of commercial stuff.
In the existing guidelines, we say that in the National Register regulations, it simply says that stockade fences are not allowed. I would contend that this is not a stockade fence. But the.
Okay, I mean, what do you define as a stockade?
Well, as discussed all of the other times that we've talked about stockade fences, I would consider a stockade fence to be one which is opaque and hung on the surface of the posts and most frequently has a little pointy top. This, I think, is a design which we have approved in lots of other places around the village. And because the opacity doesn't go the whole height, I think it gives it an airier feeling and it cuts down on that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fortress-like
if the paneled section went the
quality.
whole height, I would not approve, but I think with the,
With the lattice on top.
yeah, with the lattice on
Yeah,
top,
if this
I
is
think
6
it
feet
softens
total,
it.
yeah.
Exactly,
it
and I
opens
would
up.
also contend again that beyond the gate, I really do not think that any of this fence can be visible from a public right of way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
And the gate is set pretty far back from, I mean, I don't even think we can see the deck from the street in front of the house.
You probably won't see the fence, actually, because it's on the side, so,
Right.
Yeah.
and I would put a little tree or something, but you can see maybe the edge of it, and certainly see the gate, I mean, that was,
Well, I can tell you that your interpretation of what the stockade fence was not what people had in mind when they did the previous design guidelines.
Perhaps, but they're not on the board anymore.
I know, and what I'm saying is that as long as we're cognizant, it probably should be reflected in the revised stockade, or the revised standards.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Um,
I wrote the fence piece, the new fence piece in that, and I think I included fences that were partially paneled and partially, you know, either picketed or latticed or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling is when we put that in there, I didn't, you know, I didn't really care one way or another. And so my feeling is that I have no objection to this. It's just that, you know, this is something that we need to be consistent on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've done this in other places, but, you know, there's always, oh, well, this isn't a one exception, this is one exception. Well,
Is it,
Yeah,
is
well,
it
this is
always
not
the
an
exception that
exception
they get
anymore.
ZBA approval though?
Actually, this is very similar to Kathleen's fence between the property between her home and property that
Right.
used to be Montessori. Yeah, I know this is National District, but
I would also contend that in terms of setting precedent, this is the type of precedent that I would prefer to set over approving more aggressive opaque fences.
what do you mean by that?
Well, I think that because this is because the height of this is broken up with a solid portion on the bottom and an open, you know, lattice portion across the top, has the appearance of being
Yeah,
less
this is
severe.
How-
6
how
feet
big is-
tall, that's about a foot of lattice probably, right?
All right,
I mean,
so
so that's
so-
already, that's more like it reads like a 5 foot tall fence, and most
Right.
people are 5 feet or taller.
So it's 5
some
foot,
exceptions.
so it's opaque for
I
5
can see what
feet
it is.
and 1 foot for the lattice. Right? Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about? Oh, okay.
But most of these will arise in the situation where you do have a property line between commercial and
Yeah.
residential. Or the property on the corner of Lund Terrace, not the Tyvek house, but the other side. Their backyard along Lund is this type of fence, pretty much.
I think the only time that
It's
we've
also very tall.
discussed these solid fences is when they have a ZBA approval because they abut a commercial property. Is that, do you think that's accurate?
I think that's.
Well, I think that's
accurate.
what,
yeah, I don't
Because
know
I
if
would
I've
not-
ever
I would
seen this
not
in
be
a
okay with this.
4-foot
I would not be
style.
okay with this, you know, surrounding like the Goglers property, for example.
what's the difference?
They're
Well, for one, it's a front yard.
very
Well,
open
I
to the public right of way,
Yeah.
where people can see,
Okay,
it's
the
a
front
huge
I
yard.
agree,
What,
but-
what
It's-
property is that?
High Street, where Catherine and Fatty used to live. Remember they had the
Okay.
door with no deck
Yeah,
and
yeah,
deck with no
yeah,
door?
yeah,
You know, that's obviously not a situation where you'd want a fence like this. I think a lot of the
I don't think
residential
you'd even want it
properties.
4 feet high in the front.
No, I mean, it just shuts people out, so you wouldn't want that along the, you know, the main sight lines. This fence is really tucked back, it's not going to be highly visible, and it abuts so much commercial property. I don't have a problem with it in this case. I think if we were discussing this in the design standards, maybe we should, you know, make a, you know, clear distinction that if you have approval from the ZBA because you abut, you know, so much commercial property, we may approve a solid fence. No taller than 6 feet.
Or
of
a
solid
solid
fence.
fence.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we should definitely address in the design standards, cause we're seeing this now, but, I think that's a fair way of approaching it.
Okay, let's table that for, once we, finish all 3 victims. Then, we should talk about it, because I think it's something which, we need to have clear understanding so we can put it down in the guidelines.
And here's another thing, if we approved a picket style fence, okay, and say I'm walking on the sidewalk and I can see through the fence and I see, you know, a nasty gravel driveway behind it, I mean, what's better, this or that, you know?
As long as the fence is maintained.
Which ain't our job.
I mean, if I remember correctly, Rincon Argentino, the reason that they were replacing the fences because it was falling down.
Yeah.
But they make
Okay.
great empanadas,
All right,
just leche cakes.
so let's just sort of be clear as far as what we're approving. We're approving the 6-foot fence. We're approving this,
Mhm.
and this is the gate
Yeah.
in hardware. So this is not part of the application.
No, that's the 4-foot fence. That is part of the application because that's the fence between.
Actually, I mean, you don't see it from the street, but
Well, I
well,
guess the
that's-
question is that the residential property that's adjacent, is that this?
It's the dividing line. It's the dividing
Here, this
line
side.
between 3 and 5.
right here. So you don't see it from the street, I don't think there's any way.
All right, so
No, you don't see it.
again,
Can't see it from the street.
to clarify, this is the 4-foot fence here. Otherwise, this is all 6-foot.
Yes, that's correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. You have another one of these? Some second.
No.
Okay, so do I have a motion on the application as modified, just to indicate where it is, where the fences are?
I would move to accept the application as modified.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
GB.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing your job, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your house looks great.
Oh, thanks a lot.
How's
You
the
look
cider,
better.
is the cider business running?
Yeah, so, this year I had like 2,400 bottles that I'm making, Cold Spring Cider Works, so it's
Oh
not
my
that
God.
many. I'm doing it at Orchard Hill, they're doing it for me, cause I
Where's
gotta
that?
work. It's like 45 minutes west.
Okay.
It's pretty good, it's a fun place to go, they have bands and things, you know. But I think there's a food and wine thing at the park
Uh-huh.
this summer, and I think I'll do that at Orchard Hill, so that'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, now that you've approved, I can give you cider, so it won't look bad.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
Okay.
After the fact bribes are always accepted.
Take care.
Okay.
He's
I got
gonna
one,
say.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Two.
15 Main Street.
3, 4.
Oh, I got two.
Oh, you got two. So this is yours. This is yours.
Thank you.
Yours.
Easier if I put it all on the board.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Fun. Oh, wait. I have two of these.
Yes, because I had two. So I gave my second two.
Yeah, but one is
Okay.
signed,
You would've
Oh, because I,
one is to receive one.
because I have one for Kathleen's
I don't know.
copy.
Yes, there's.
No, I think this is, are these all the same?
Yeah. This can go back in the folder.
Oh, yeah, I got two. I'm saying
It's the
that.
same content that they have.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Okay,
That one is not
Um,
marked received.
very briefly, why don't you tell us what the application's for?
The application is for 15 Main Street. I'm Shuhi from River Architects. The application is for 15 Main Street, and currently, we're proposing to renovate this building. We're not expanding the footprint. We're proposing 2 commercial spaces in the existing footprint. And right now, because we have to raise the floor level to accommodate flood level, we have to provide an entry stoop. And while we're negotiating that sidewalk purchase for this entry stoop, we wanted to get the project rolling. And so we have, so this is the floor plan, this is the Main Street here, sidewalk in between some plantings and some excess frontage here. We're proposing to put a handicap ramp and access into the front half of the building, and also which shares a landing for the back portion, which is a tourist home. And so just to get the client, to start the work, at least to the back portion, we are proposing to do the handicap ramp and window replacement and stucco as part of this application. So right now, for this phase, we're not touching the front elevation. And we will address the front coverage of that ramp area along with that, when we propose a new elevation. But in the meantime, we're proposing to replace the roof over the existing covered alleyway there. And we're proposing to replace this fence, and the windows and doors are along here. I mean, you don't see these windows and doors on this side, but you do see maybe part of this as well, which is the back. And we have some photos.
Okay, before you go any further, do I have a motion concerning secret?
Well, I just have a question. How are you're just raising, you're not raising the building, you're just raising the floor inside?
Yes, because we have enough ceiling height.
Oh, I see,
Yeah,
I see.
we have
Okay.
enough ceiling height
Ooh,
in the
okay.
front half. We are matching the roof, the back roof to the same line as the front roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yes, we can vote on
All
secret.
right. So do I have a motion concerning the secret?
I move that it's type 2.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Had to get that out of the way.
Yes, thank you. That's a new thing, I think. All right, and so we are proposing in this covered alleyway, we're proposing to take this lattice off, which doesn't need the historic, district review board anyway, and we're proposing to take this, existing lattice off and propose something more horizontal. And the railing that we're proposing is just black metal railing that is, illustrated in this photo. And now, the roof, there are two, outdoor roofs, that we're proposing, which is over the existing, to replace the roof over the existing alleyway, and then propose a roof over this niche, new outdoor deck that's being captured in the back, where the tourist home is, because it's very dark. The building is, built to the lot line, so we are proposing to cut out a little bit of outdoor space in the back. And, the client would like to propose some sort of covered with ample light in the back. In the front, we are proposing to do more of a metal corrugated roof with kind of integrated skylight, which is this portion is polycarbonate, the skylight portion. And this is the trick that a lot of farmers use, in the area, and so because the building is rather unattractive, we're trying to just clean it up and maybe go with a little bit of more of, farm slash, black metal, inspired by the foundry, deck coverage. And so those are the cleanup touches that we're proposing. So the ramp, because the client would like it light and airy, she would like to propose the same material that the Foundry Preserve Park has used.
They use it for the path, the main path, and the
Yes.
spine, yeah.
So I'm sorry, that was the deck material you're talking about?
Right, so that
Yeah.
material we're proposing
Ah.
to put it here,
Yeah.
and then we'll treat the frontage, when we address the
Okay,
front
so
facade.
that deck material would be on
On the horizontal surface right here.
both the ramp and that porch area.
Yes.
Yeah. And this horizontal slatting here, is that like a louver? Does that have a pitch to it, or is that flat? It's hard to tell from this picture.
This is all flat.
Okay, now where does this go?
That is going on the side lattice, so
Yeah.
when you're looking at the photo,
Yeah.
right here.
Now, is it going on both sides of those posts that are there now?
Just on the right side, on the exterior side.
On the side toward the building
The
next
neighbor,
door?
yes, to give it a kind of clean look. And I said to the client,
Is anything going on the inside of that?
inside of that, I mean, it's a good question. We were going to just have it exposed posts.
Because those posts look pretty,
Could look,
beat up.
yeah, the posts, I mean, we may have to replace the posts to achieve, that look,
Okay.
yeah.
So the fence, so just focusing on that facade, the way that you have it drawn here, it's going to be, is it going to be solid and then start to open up, or is this just a tighter?
Solid and then open up.
Okay.
So it's similar to, oh, I see what, the photos, I mean, we can,
Yeah, because here it looks like there's a gap and then it turns into a thinner material.
yeah, I think we could definitely do something like that. My understanding was that it was solid and then open up.
So it would be the same, so it's the same, so is it two different thicknesses?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, but this side, but these will be butt close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lower portion will butt, but the upper portion will have gaps.
Okay, and it'll all be the same material,
Yes.
and it's wood,
Yes.
okay.
Natural wood.
Yeah, I mean, I think to, I think if you were to clad it on both sides, you would lose a little bit of the kind of airiness of
Yeah,
it.
you would, but because I understood that it was supposed to go on the inside face, not on the outside face initially.
Yeah, we would like to put it on the outside face, and then in these posts, I mean, if they're rotted and
Yeah,
they need
they're
to be
rubbish
replaced.
posts.
Well, they'll be
Yeah.
replaced in kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They're wood, the posts are currently wood, right?
Yes. I mean, the more I look at this image right here, this image right here,
Hmm.
I mean, I would love to do that in the front alleyway, just to make that, less dark, but I'm not sure how you feel about seeing too much polycarbonate versus metal roof.
Well, the other thing is that, you know, you're not gonna see a hell of a lot aside from the Lusk House
Mhm.
up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's really what you wanna see.
I don't know if you're gonna really see, I mean, you're going to experience the roof as you're kind of walking towards it,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're under it, but I don't really know how much of the top of the roof you're really gonna be able to see on this.
No, I'm talking about the
Lean-to.
wall of
Oh, this.
the Lusk.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
For a
that's,
brief
I'm
moment.
talking about the roof.
all you're gonna see is a brick wall.
Oh, you also see the garbage cans and other stuff that's in that
In the
little
alley.
alleyway.
You're talking about when you're inside the alleyway and you're looking out through it? Right, well,
Or from the street level, are you saying?
we
the
only have
public
the experience of looking into it, so.
Well, I mean, next door, and I don't know if they've done the structural repairs that they were supposed to do. See, this is what you're gonna be seeing,
Right,
and the alleyway that has the trash cans and stuff.
And then this might be, because it is a commercial, somewhat industrial looking building, we would like to propose aluminum window and for durability and also because it's going into masonry opening, we feel more comfortable with the aluminum frame.
and that would be for this casement window?
All the windows that.
Oh, I see, there's
yeah.
some behind the wall.
Yeah.
So there's this window.
Yes, yeah, that's a door, and this is window, and these two doors,
Doors
we
will
would like a
match.
full height glass,
Okay.
just for cleanness, and
Mhm.
also it's, visibility for, let's say, handicapped
Right.
person approaching the door would, be nice and fully visible. And also from the energy performance, standpoint of view, believe it or not, triple glazed glass performs better than just a solid core with some
Mhm.
insulation
Mhm.
Yeah.
tucked in.
That makes sense.
What is the ramp in that platform made out of? Isn't that
The like
granite,
perforated metal.
perforated metal?
Decking material.
Didn't we approve?
It's the same material that Scenic Hudson used on that main path that runs sort of like the spine
Yeah.
from the
boardwalk
testing
thing.
tower all the way back to the
The wheel.
wheel.
And it's also on the steps going up the side behind 20 Boulevard.
Right. And didn't we approve something
Yes, it is.
That new
similar?
deck.
Yeah, the new
at,
viewing platform, yeah.
Like across from the depot, what the heck is that called? The big stucco building. They did tons of work on it.
No, I think we looked at something with it, but they ended
Did
up
they
doing.
change their
I
mind?
think
Was
they
that what
built it all
happened?
out of
Okay,
wood.
okay. Yeah, they did change their mind, but they did, but we entertained the
All right, I guess,
trail.
so we've got this ramp and this platform, and it's in that perforated, or, the perforated,
Decking.
decking. What about interior spaces in this outdoor area in the back?
Interior spaces, you wanna know the
Well,
floor material right here, you mean?
Because, I mean, aren't you gonna be raising the floors in there?
Yes, the floor is going to be concrete because we need a
Like a non-porous,
right,
yeah.
yeah, for the flood, we're creating a bathtub in there, so it's gonna be concrete.
Okay, well, then wouldn't the platform and the ramp make sense being concrete?
The client really fell in love with this material, so she would like us to try for lighter material.
Okay.
I'll say one thing, because it is an ADA ramp, that metal surface is very non-skid.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah.
So even if, obviously there's a roof over it, but if people come in with, wet shoes or something like that, they could go.
Hmm.
So but that would, you couldn't skid on that, it'd ruin your shoes for the rest of the day.
And how is the area below this, the platform that you roll up to, how is that that?
The vertical, yes,
yeah.
we wanna treat that once we get approval on this, because that will tie in most likely with whatever we're doing here.
Okay,
So we wanted to kind of leave that open for now, in terms of discussion, material,
Okay.
we wanna tie into what we're doing here.
but the goal will be that it is eventually filled in with a material
Correct,
TBD, it's not gonna be fully open.
correct. What if it were, hypothetically, what if it were the lattice, the horizontal lattice, with that, I know it's not the, I'm losing all
wood.
my words today.
That's okay.
Yeah, what if we had something like that, would that be acceptable? Slide
Where?
the horizontal
If it was the
slots,
horizontal,
Oh.
so,
just to go with the theme.
You kinda have to wonder though about getting, like, little animals in there.
that's what I was, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting
Of
at.
course, you
because
could put some sort of protective screening behind it that.
Yes, we will be putting some black metal screen behind it.
Because if this is a perforated, surface,
Mhm.
but this is going to be a solid wall,
Mhm.
and then obviously this is all coming out to concrete, is, I guess just from a maintenance issue, how is everything that's below this decking, is it going to remain inaccessible for, drainage and all of that stuff, or so water doesn't accumulate inside of it?
Yeah, so this portion, can be removable, so let me go back to the.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean.
I think this can be removable, in part, obviously this is hard to get, but if we need to get at it, we could make that part removable.
Sure, so
Granted,
there's other
we'll have to go
places
through-
to, okay. So in the facade itself, we're not gonna have to contend with seeing below that deck at all?
Correct, yeah, we
Okay.
definitely wanna tie in with whatever's happening here,
Alright,
and we would love to make it a coherent, design.
cool.
All right, so that wood railing system is only up to a certain level, right? Because below
Like 4
that,
feet, we were thinking 4 feet or so, or wherever the, I should have, what was that?
the handrails.
Handrails, or where the garbage, where the unsightliness, items are.
Well,
The
you
trash
have,
can.
you have this stuff that butts up to a certain height, and then above that, you have the spaced slats.
Yes. And to keep it light, yeah, I mean, we wanna space that more,
Okay, and that's all gonna be on the outside of the posts.
yes.
One thing which has nothing to do with the application here, but take a look and see what the maximum length of a ramp without, before you have a need for a landing.
Yes, we did check on that, and, this is 24 feet, 30 feet is maximum.
30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then, the other surface materials that we're proposing to just finish this with stucco, which is kind of
Yeah.
the feel that it already has, but it's kind of like
Mhm.
parched concrete, you know, they just kind of slathered concrete on it.
I was gonna say, what is it?
It's
Oh, on
slattered,
the
not
existing
stucco.
wall, you mean?
What is,
It's not real stuff.
as part of this, the handicap ramp, how are you gonna close off the underside of the platform?
Yeah, we were just talking, the front part, we're going to leave it for now so that we can address it with what we do out in the front. Here, we're,
Well, on the side, you've got the wood siding.
yes, we got siding here, here we haven't, quite, I'm thinking it's, if we do wood, it would be wood that ties into it.
Right, and I see that, is this wood siding or is this the handrail or the guardrail for the ramp?
This part here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I think we are providing probably the same solid, siding so that things don't fall, I guess, in between the posts.
Okay, and is it gonna be steel framing, wood framing for that, the perforated metal planking?
We're thinking that it should be metal, one of those techno posts that doesn't need a footing, because, trying to put footings in here is going to be challenging, so those little spiral, techno posts that are pile driven.
Okay.
And the metal, whatever metal framing, it's going to go covered anyway, so they won't be visible at the end.
Well, it will be until you do the front.
Yes, but we're hoping that by the time before even we get to it, you know, we will have all of that approved,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it worked out because you're gonna have to raise the door.
Okay. And the client, we struggled, you know, how far do we wanna go, and 24 inches is minimum. And that is, they said 24 inches, so, yeah, so because it's a non-porous material, the concrete, you know, we were able to make that work. And the client didn't wanna go too high because otherwise it's not as inviting. You know, we're trying to play the
Mhm.
balance between mitigating the flood and making it accommodating. And also the ramp, you know, happens to work out with the 24-inch rise.
But would there be more than one entrance to the cafe lounge?
So this is the handicap entry.
Yeah.
And this is the front door entry that we would like to figure out how to do that with the front stoop.
Yeah, especially since you're raising the floor here 2 feet.
Right,
Yeah.
right, that's why we needed to ask for the front stoop,
Oh, so you could,
yeah, put the steps out there.
Where do you put your garbage?
It's a good question, we were going to store them in this room, you know,
Yeah, but you also get garbage from the
from
tourist
the,
thing.
yeah, that's true. Probably out there, which is not so pleasant, I mean, it is.
Yeah,
it is-
because you're right on the property line anyway,
I
yeah.
know, it is a tricky one.
And there's no basement in this building.
Correct, no basement.
There's no hatch or something you can.
How
Yeah.
about the mechanical?
In the ceiling. And then outdoor units, we are proposing to locate it here, and this is the side that you don't see from the public. Now, the
Yeah.
building inspector, we have to finalize that with the building inspector, because, you know, in order to service it, we would have to go through a neighbor's property.
Mhm.
But visually, we felt that that's our number one choice, is to
Mhm.
put it there behind a shed, or, I mean, blocked by the shed. And then the alternate choices back here, possibly, you know, somewhere in the back here.
Mhm.
Is this the shed or the building? Because you got that,
No, there's a shed.
There's a shed here, and we were thinking
okay,
that we would.
all right, yeah, so there's this, the Argentinian corner,
Yes.
Rincon.
green corner.
And as part of this application as well, this is going to be the material for
The
the
overall.
asphalt part of the roof?
Right, which is not really visible from,
And is it going to be entirely re-roofed, or is it just gonna be repaired as needed?
entirely removed.
Entirely re-roofed, okay.
So because right now, the rear of this building has a lower roof than the front, so they're going to be matching up?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
So that's gonna be all new in the back, because it's gotta be raised.
Right,
And so when you're
but
raising it,
we'll see it,
when you're raising it
in
in
the
the
front.
back, how much are you raising this here?
So there's about, we were trying to figure that out through the photo, but I believe it's about, 18 inches or so.
So but that would be stucco to match the rest of the stuff.
Correct.
It's for later and for you.
Oh,
wow.
Thank you.
Sorry, interrupt.
thank you.
And he did it right in front of the camera. So it's now
But
on
none of
record.
us are taking it.
We'll fill it an expense report for each one.
We'll give it to the mayor for his disposition.
Okay, so I'm just going back to the so that's the window cut on the other board for the new windows. And then do you have
Yes.
a door cut in here?
Door cut, is similar. Would there be an objection if we did all aluminum? You don't care what the inside is, right? If
Right.
we end up going with aluminum. So,
Well,
This
the thing is that the new door that you're talking about would be visible from the street.
right, this is, yeah, so, but not this leaf because it's the backside. We will only see the aluminum exterior frame. So if we.
Well, you'd
decide
also
to-
see the door, because realistically, as you're walking down the street, you can see it.
Yeah, you'd see that. It's a triple glazed door also,
Yes.
because you mentioned to me recently the door in your office
Yes.
was extremely heavy.
Because of the tightness of the door closer?
Oh,
Yeah,
but this would probably have a door closer too, I mean, at least on the cafe portion.
yes, and that can be loosened.
It
Yeah,
can be
without the door
adjusted?
closer, it's much easier to open,
Yeah.
but, yeah. For some reason, the installer had tightened it, and we just never.
Oh, okay, it can be adjusted to make it less
Yes.
onerous.
We have in the standards, we allow aluminum clad windows and aluminum clad doors. I don't know if we actually stipulate anything about all aluminum, either.
No, this
Well,
is
that
cladding,
window-
it says
that-
aluminum
Yeah,
cladding.
that cut.
But
just
I'm
is-
wondering,
Right, Judy is asking whether or not they could do a full aluminum door, not an aluminum clad wood door.
Oh, okay,
This
because
is more
these are the
durable.
windows only, okay, got it.
I'm sorry, like an aluminum solid, no glazing?
no, so this portion
The
would be.
interior.
The frame would be
Oh.
all aluminum.
Oh,
This would still be glazed, but I'm wondering if we
oh,
could
so
do all
it's
aluminum frame.
it's like a glass door, but the frame is
Frames,
aluminum.
all
Oh,
aluminum.
what about, the property, Alex Caron's commercial property? Those were
Well-
like iron?
Well, I mean, the first thing is that I would not say that this is a contributing structure, so.
Right.
Right.
I
No
have-
way.
We're trying to make it better.
Well, and I think the other thing too,
Anything's an improvement.
when the standards were drawn up originally, the opposition to the vinyl and aluminum windows as opposed to vinyl and aluminum clad wood windows
Right.
was
The
about,
technology was different.
yeah, and it was about the durability and denting and things like that, which is
And I think a lot of it had to do with, you know, triple track storm windows and.
right. So
Yeah,
it's not
like that.
as much of a concern, I don't think, with the technology that's being presented. And also to Al's point, as a non-contributing building, I don't know if it's something that we would necessarily.
Okay, with respect to the surface of the aluminum, we had a discussion in our recent design standards review about permanent coatings on materials. Is this aluminum paintable?
It's, baked on, can we do touch-up on site, you mean?
Yeah, can you do
The
touch-up?
short answer is no, because you're talking about a baked-on finish, right?
Yes.
But can you paint on a baked down finish?
But this
It will
isn't,
flake
Yeah,
off
but
the.
it's-
this is an
It'll flake
application
off.
and not a workshop, so this application is entered under these.
Yeah, I know
design
that, but I'm just asking for my own
Curious.
information.
We can touch up, but it will flake off faster than what is applied on the factory. It's not as durable,
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
I
and we
mean,
won't.
the whole point of the baked-on finish is to have a very tough, durable finish, therefore not very, a suitable surface for paint.
Are we worried about maintenance?
It's part of our permanent color conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue
I think
is
it
that
was
whatever
black like
color
the
is
rail.
selected, and we have no say over color, is gonna be the color.
Right.
And so
you're
if
not
you-
gonna be able to
if
paint.
if a future owner wants to change it, tough.
Then they'll have to change the
They're gonna
whole-
have to buy new doors.
Exactly.
I,
You know, while the rear end of this building is visible from New Street,
Right, this
okay?
corner, yeah.
Because I really did look from every angle that I possibly could. Technically, you should be able to see some of this part of the rear wall from Market Street,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the fencing and the shrubbery there, you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think I think there's only like one window that changes position. There's a new window, which I think this is the new window here on the den portion of the tourist section. And the other window is actually an existing window where you're just changing it. I think these two windows are existing now,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just changing the windows in that wall. This window is probably not visible from New Street. The sliding doors are,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so far away, really. I mean, it was hard to see even what's there now.
Right, and also
And
there's
there-
gonna
and there's
be.
also, and also there's sheds over here from properties on Market Street that kinda, you're not sure how much you can see. You can probably see this much over here, so that's really, in the back, that's the only thing. You could probably never see what the detail is on those doors or these windows here.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be, at least for phase one of this building, this is going to be the section that we're really going to be most concerned with, because that's really visible from passersby sort of on a regular basis. I mean, you'd have to be a stalker to wanna see some of the stuff over here.
well, but I mean, that's because of the vegetation. And the thing is that at some point, at any point in the future.
No, I know the vegetation, but there's like one new window being put in
All
here,
right.
you know?
And I guess, we're talking about triple glazing. What are the sizes of these windows, and can you get them triple glazing?
These existing ones are quite small, for example.
These two and these two.
This one, and yeah, those existing ones are quite small.
Cause that's a bathroom and this is,
All right,
well,
but I
the den
mean-
is probably a bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, the question I have is that by the time you finish with all of the triple glazing, well,
With the
first of
frame
all,
and all that,
yeah, I mean, I would assume that we're taking out the frame entirely and you're putting in a new frame.
correct. And you're right, I mean, because we have this one operable window, we may choose to make these fixed so that we're not losing so much to the frame.
Okay,
That's a good
this
point.
is an operable window.
Well, why does the triple
That's not-
glazing affect the front dimensions of the frame?
They get thicker.
It just makes the whole assembly thicker.
But it makes
You
it
got-
thicker front to back, right?
Well, except,
That and.
I mean, if you take a look at that, that is, the whole frame, the whole window assembly is a lot bigger than a double glazed section. And I guess my concern is that we're talking about openings in block wall,
Right, right.
and so increasing the size of the opening it would be difficult.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but, I mean, we were just trying to also keep the cost down.
But are all of these like custom-made windows to fit these openings?
They're all custom anyway, they're all custom.
They're not insertion windows.
And we would propose to do, say, casement, there are tiny, so that's all casement anyway to begin with. And just,
Except for the one slider.
right, except for this one slider, we would propose to do all casement.
And so this and this and this might be fixed,
Correct,
the bathroom and that bedroom.
yeah.
But this is casement, this is casement, this is casement, this is casement,
Yes.
okay.
And in the event, you know, that we do have to make these larger, the opening larger, we'll certainly come back to you, you know, for that approval.
But Al, your concern is that the surface of the glass is going to be getting dramatically smaller.
Yeah.
Or, well, you know, I mean, the windows are small to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's an excellent point.
Would you
Yeah.
contend that any of the windows, other than the front facade windows, would you contend that any of the windows in this building are character defining enough to
No,
be
I
concerned
mean,
about that?
it just seems
It's a
like it
concrete block
winds
element.
up being sort of an exercise in futility to try and put, you know, windows in the existing masonry opening. I mean, for example, and the issue is that essentially these are all lot line windows, which I don't know, I mean, there's the code here, but typically the lot line windows have to be fire
Fire
rated.
rated. Yeah, that's the other reason why I was asking about all aluminum frame, because, I realized that wood may not meet that.
Aluminum won't meet that
That
either.
either?
No, would have to be steel.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can get aluminum clad steel windows, which would be fire rated. Okay, so, let us start with the easy stuff. Anybody have any questions concerning the roof or the roof shingles?
We voted on secret, right?
Secret.
Yes.
No, I think that's,
Okay, so there's no controversy.
At least we can do that one.
I do have one quick question. I don't understand what this is. Keep existing CMU wall up to existing window sill height.
Oh, so we,
Look at the rear elevations, obvious.
I know, but is that existing?
Yeah, because.
the wall right now is going up to the roof line, but we wanna cut back but give privacy, so we're only taking it down to partial height.
All right, so in other words, is this new construction?
Correct, this is, yeah, so, sorry, we're not showing that clearly in a graphic.
All right.
Yeah, this is new construction right
Isn't some of this new construction too?
here. No, the wall,
Well-
I mean,
Oh,
inside insulation is new, but,
Well, yeah, but, okay.
But I think that, isn't that a double door, or, I think.
oh yes, we are filling in, you're right, yeah, we are
Oh.
filling in that opening.
Okay, well, after the vote, one of the things I'm gonna ask is that you clarify what's new construction, what's existing.
Oh, you know what, actually, the white is existing and all the gray is new, that's what it is. So the gray is new,
Well, that and also the CMU wall, this is 8 inches?
I think trying to remember.
Okay, because this is new furring to the inside.
Correct, yeah, insulation and then furred out wall. Yeah.
Okay, because that looks awfully thin.
I'm trying to remember whether it was 6 inch or 8 inch, I'm pretty sure it was 8 inch.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you know, most of the construction here, so this is all new.
The white is existing and the gray is new,
Okay,
so that the infill right here, that's new.
okay, because I think that, the plan is just a little confusing. I think that, and realistically, all of the layout on the inside, if it can be grayed out so that, you know, it doesn't clutter up the view of what's, you know, I would think that, you know, this indicating that this is all new interior construction is fine, but I don't think that we need to see this because realistically, that's not what we're, I mean, it's good information for us, but I think, you know, stuff like this is hard to pick up that is new infill, right? So, this is the existing wall, and are we not talking about a post there?
Yes.
Wouldn't you have any other posts along the way, or is it just gonna
I
be?
guess we could have a post-it on that face of that wall.
That's 15 feet, it's a pretty long span.
Yeah, but that's where you're putting the corrugated, polymer, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Or-
but you still have snow,
well, that's true.
and it's a fairly flat pitch.
Okay.
I would say that you're probably gonna need another
Yeah.
post there.
To align with the.
Well, I don't know if you wanna do that, I think if you space it evenly, because you're gonna have some framing holding up the corrugated polycarbonate.
Yeah, I was more thinking about the view of the window.
Trust me. That's
Where
not
are
gonna win it one way or another,
Where are you drawing these posts?
on the outdoor deck in the back.
Right here. So he's saying, you know, we will
The rear
need a
property
post
line.
there and a post here.
Because the snow will weigh down the,
Oh, this is covered by the
Corrugated.
same corrugated material?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, I didn't know.
No, in the back, it's all polycarbonate, like,
corrugated polycarbonate.
Or-
Yeah.
Right, I didn't realize that. I thought it was
Transparent.
open to the air
Oh.
above.
Yes.
I see, so you're talking about putting support
Oh, did I not?
along here to, because it's gonna be coming this way.
Yeah, so.
yeah, it's like a flatter roof.
It might be shown in
Elevation.
the, new outdoor roof deck. Okay, I see.
okay. So, I guess let's start at the front, and, well, that's gonna be, I guess, just to finish up. So you're gonna have a post here. Now, is this going to be?
Yeah, that still, yeah, needs to be engineered, but yeah, there should be some sort of bracing there.
Well, then also, you know, realistically, you've got, the slope of the roof is going this way. So how are you gonna put down something which I would assume is gonna slope this way, or is it gonna slope this way?
It's sloping that way.
Sloping that way. horizontal. All right, so essentially, the pitch is gonna be in this direction.
Mhm.
And probably,
Maybe one in the middle.
or you could go one, that still doesn't look that, okay, we'll put one in the middle here,
And then,
and
yeah,
then you have that.
yeah, there was one sketch where I did go horizontally, but maybe, the guys didn't pick up, and so, yeah, and there's that post there,
Well, the question is that you really can't go horizontal, because you've gotta pitch it so that it drains water. Right?
no, I meant, just a
Oh, a
Horizontal
horizontal framing.
framing,
All right. Well, all right, to be determined. But, like I said, let's go through each of the items, and then if you could revise the drawings so that, keep it simple. Okay, so up front, starting with the front, how about anybody have any problems with the ramp?
With the what?
Ramp and the platform at the front?
No, I think it's great. And I like that they're using a modern material that's being used elsewhere inside the district. I think that's an interesting touch. I did just have a question here though, on page 2, you have these, you just mentioned something about the downlights for the porch seating. Is any furniture out here gonna be loose? Nothing's gonna be tied into this railing or anything like that?
correct, I mean, I don't think we have much room for furniture
Okay.
anyway.
Great.
And
yeah.
you have
I
yet
think
to,
that's a good idea.
you have yet to resolve the, sort of the lower level of that, of the flat portion of the porch here.
Yeah, I think it,
You know, that
well,
wall
we
between
would- yeah,
below the railing.
I visually, in my mind, it would look best if it matched that wood, and if that wood tied into it, but we just don't know what's happening here to
Yeah.
really say what's.
So we can't resolve that right now.
Right here, that piece, I mean,
I mean, we could, there's probably a facing on something there, but, I don't, would you be able to maintain the width of the, what is it, a 3-foot width?
right, it will have to be,
Yeah, it could
set
be
in.
set under the surface.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because this 5'2" span is gonna be above, the decking itself is gonna have to hang over whatever structure is holding it up
Yeah,
enough that the water will spill off it, so,
yeah, but, and with the water spilling off,
although it is under a roof, so.
but the water spilling off
Onto the neighbor's property.
goes
But we-
onto the neighbor's property, and is there any, both for the rear deck roof and for the, access
Where the water
ramp
is.
roof, how are you dealing with water coming off of there, or snow sliding off, or ice, or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, the gutter, well, I think it currently overhangs.
I don't think there is a gutter.
I don't know if there is one either.
I don't remember seeing a gutter.
Oh, yeah,
There is a
There
gutter,
is?
and it's, it could be,
Oh, it's kind of like hidden behind a piece of trim.
Oh, okay, got it.
Hmm.
So, but where does that lead to?
I think it's in the,
It's
Back.
gotta drain someplace.
yeah, it's in the back, and I believe, I don't,
It goes all the way to the back and then it hits into where the second, the CMU block wall is. It goes into a second gutter and then a leader goes into the backyard.
it's the back photo.
Yeah, if you look on the view from New Street.
Oh, okay, I see it, yes.
Judy, I'll tell you, my feeling right now is that there are a lot of open questions. I mean, I think we should go through this, but I don't know if we really have enough to take a vote today. At least that's what my
Could
feeling.
we break it up and vote on some elements and whatever?
Well, I think we can vote on the roof.
We've approved.
I mean,
We can't have
What about-
the only takeaway from the meeting be that we approved an asphalt shingle road. I mean, gotta make a little bit more
I think we
progress.
can push for one more thing.
Well, I think you're getting feedback
Well, I
from
think,
us
no,
on
but raising the
various-
whole roof here is
Mhm.
the issue.
Right.
That's true.
And I think we can buy into raising the whole roof there,
That will enable
not
her
just the
to,
shingling.
that will enable her to, work, on that portion. And what about this notch, you know, in the back?
you know, I don't think, I think most of us don't have any problem with what you're proposing. I think there are a lot of questions that, you know, you still don't have answers to. So that's, I just wanna make sure that we understand what it is that we're approving. So, you know, for example, you know, that is a good point. Now, have you had any dealings with Mrs. Lusk?
No.
You're in for a treat.
Well, I know, well, James has a good relationship with her, so,
Ah,
Okay.
well, there you go.
All right.
A couple of sections would be good to see, you know, to understand it better and see how the materials work and see how the new structuring of the floor slab with it works and stuff like that.
but the floor slab is interior, so I'm not.
Well, no, but the floor,
sure.
well, the floor slab will affect that rear deck, the floor slab will affect the height here of at least, some portion of it, so, you know, and seeing how it's interconnected, because it's really, we're getting down to the fine details here, we're not talking about the overall design.
Yeah. And see, for example, with this, the window jam. Now, obviously, the way it's drawn, it looks like the window is actually set in on the interior. So then what's the finish right here on the edge of the block?
Stucco.
Okay,
I mean, stucco has to wrap into it.
all right, well then it would be nice to have a detail, the sort of a typical jam detail to show. How about the sills? You're gonna have some sort of sill there?
Most likely metal sill.
Okay. So, you know, there are little details like that. I mean, a typical window jam detail, I think, would be fine. And that would apply to all. And, you know, cleaning this up so that we clearly understand what's new and what's existing.
But it's gray is new and white is existing.
Okay, but then it would be nice to have a little legend. The gutter, I think how, you know, there is a, it sounds like there is a gutter there.
Yeah, we
and-
would
Yeah, I
have to go
didn't see
down
that.
here and then, you know, possibly one here, because I think,
Well, but just think about it. I mean, now what you're doing is you're taking, you now have a roof which goes like this. So you also have water coming off of the roof.
yeah,
But you have
that's
to
why I'm
put-
Yeah,
saying
that's why you have a gutter
here
on there.
and one hidden here. But I think those are the details. What I would prefer is that I can address those details on phase two per se. I mean, it's gonna take a while to order these windows. So, I would, if there's a way, we could just get the phase one, why don't we just determine what is phase one so that she can move forward with some construction.
I think as far as the concept in terms of the form, it doesn't seem like there's a big problem with it. It doesn't seem like there's a big problem with any of the materials. But it's what you want to just see laid out specifically for the building inspector is more of like these details and how they connect together.
Well, that and also that has an impact on the appearance.
Right, but as far as the windows, like you were saying with the windows with the whether it's a metal jamb and the stucco wrapping into the frame itself, does that call into question the windows themselves that are being proposed?
Well,
Or you just wanna know
I
how it's
would
gonna be
be
finished?
concerned because, you know, if let's say if I gave this to a contractor, he'd give me a rough opening and he'd build the jam on the inside and then there's a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into a fight with him as far as whether or not he's gonna caulk it or finish it somehow.
Could,
So, you know, it would be nice to know how those things are being addressed.
Could,
mean, because you've got a fairly thick wall with all the insulation and everything else, you've got a fairly thick wall.
but could Juhi order her windows and doors and then come back to us for another round of approval on how they're installed?
Or actually, I mean, we would rather order the windows and doors with the front elements anyway. So to me, it's fine as long as she can get started on the roof and, you know, start the demolition here. And, you know, so we know that this ramp works. Technically, it's just a matter of finishing this, you know, do you approve the railing? I mean, we won't even get to the railing until, you know, months later. So
Okay.
for phase one, we can just define we're allowed to do the roof and, you know, do this back,
The back porch?
notch. And, that way, at least we can get the structure and the concrete tub forming. That's a big
I
chunk.
could buy that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally fine with that.
Then, if that's the case, what we would probably need are drawings which show just that.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So I think that we're talking about see, for example, this doesn't really tell me what's new and what's existing. I mean, new stucco finish, but this is the existing wall.
Right.
So, for example, if the new stuff could be, and this is actually, I don't even know where the existing roof is, but obviously this is all new roof.
Right, got it, understood. So
So-
we'll clarify that, and then, so windows, we can leave the
Okay.
windows out until we're ready to order the front.
All right, so what you're looking for is the construction of the roof and the niche, the niche in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can give us that in plan and elevation, we can take a look at that.
Okay, great, thank you. And then as far as, I mean, it just occurred to me, you know, as I'm standing here, this is just a workshop question. Would you be opposed to it if we proposed, something like that over this area? Because I would love to make it more light filled as possible.
Didn't we approve a similar material for, a bike shed?
Yeah, bike
Yonica's-
shed on,
Yonica's bike shed?
Oh, this isn't a bike shed.
But we don't want it to be too dark, that's the thing. And we were trying to be more traditional with, you know, skylight concept, because I know HW is opposed to plastic or synthetic material. So we were trying to be more accommodating, but the more I think about it, it's just, I would love to bring more light into that space.
Well, except I don't know if you're gonna get light, and that's just it. Because this is on the north side. You've got a tall building on this side. So, and you've got a building over here. You've got the ridge runs this way. So as the sun comes up in the east, it's not, you're not going to get very much light here. As it comes on this side, maybe you will get some light. As soon as it comes past noon, it's all going to be shaded by the building next door.
I think once we remove the roof, we will see how much impact it will have. Maybe we'll come back to you then. I mean,
Okay.
I think maybe if
either
you're,
that or more skylights.
more skylights,
yeah, and if you're concerned about light too, I mean, I know that you wanna have the entrance covered obviously, but could even cutting the roof itself back so the outermost edge of the ramp and the outermost edge of the platform have no roof over them, maybe that might make this area appear to be lighter, so, and rather than having the roof go all the way to the edge.
I would prefer to have coverage,
Full
with
coverage of the deck.
snow and such.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some will flurry into that area
Right.
regardless.
Well, especially with the ramp, you either need to protect the ramp or because because you have rain, ice, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, either, if it's considered outdoor, then you have to, make arrangements to have it cleaned and so on. I think that the one thing though, to think about is that, with the lights that you have, I think that would, you'll be able to, draw attention to the things that you wanna draw attention to there.
I see, yeah, with the spotlights, you mean like,
Yeah.
okay. All right, I think
Also, maybe there are
once-
different types of polycarbonate that don't look, tacky.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I think I just wanted to have that conversation with you now in case when we open that and say, oh, you know, it's so much lighter without that.
Yeah, because even if it's not direct sunshine on it, you know, you do have a certain amount of ambient light that, you know, even the polycarbonate will filter some light out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true, yeah. But I feel that would be better than an opaque
I
material.
mean, could
Yeah.
you maybe, I mean, would it be possible to have something, you know, opaque up to maybe like that point or something? So it's, you don't see it so much from the street and then have
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
polycarbonate back here where it's not so visible from
Well,
the sidewalk?
Or instead of just a skylight, because, you know, one of the things that you know, that you've got the skylight over the platform, but you don't have it over the ramp.
Yeah, I was just looking at that too. The length of the
Mhm.
skylights could even be.
You know, maybe it's, you know, a section of corrugated metal, section of corrugated, polycarbonate and so on.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we can play with that a little bit more.
yeah, like a long skylight
Yeah, you can do something like that.
Yeah.
or alternate.
Yeah, using it more as like a structure itself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where's that. Yeah,
Polycarbonate's
then-
last page.
So, but
the way
other
that
than
this is treated
that,
almost.
right, yeah, okay, so we can play with that as the project develops, but, other than that, I mean, the polycarbonate overlapped with the corrugated metal, that seems like a good workable solution,
Well, it's corrugated as long as the dimensions are the same.
right?
I mean, because realistically, you know, that's how the metal is laid up. I mean, they come in panels,
Right,
and you know, you stack them, or you know, overlap the edges.
The polycarbonate has a slight texture to it. Does that like catch a lot of dirt?
no, actually,
Okay.
our client has it at her house, because it has that, I guess, what is it called, micro, engineering, it kind of.
The microband stuff?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just slicks away with the
Huh.
rain, yeah.
And
Well, the leaves, I guess.
you're gonna
will
need a
eventually-
gutter.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that too. I think you'll probably, when you like noodle on this a little bit more, I think you're gonna be more satisfied with a gutter abutting this corrugated metal than you will be the
Mm.
polycarbonate.
Yeah, well, the gutter. will
Yeah, I
be
know that it would be
against
on the fascia anyway, but
Yeah,
I think you might just wanna consider how those two materials are gonna come together visually. You might be able to kind of like hide it a little bit more if it's
right,
going against the line of the metal. But I do think
you're right, yeah,
that looking at it in plan, you know, just increasing the overall coverage of the,
yeah.
or more of them, or using it as more of a structural issue, structural material, unless it's a sort of like a window.
Yeah, and we can
We're
play
not
with
writing
the
out.
bays of this structure. Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's good, as long as, yeah, we can bring in more light, that's the key, okay,
Can be done.
great.
and it may also be increasing the, you know, sort of the opacity in the sidewall too, if that's gonna help to bring in more.
Right,
I know that you wanna screen it for privacy, but
I did, it's funny, I did ask the client, but people don't mind looking at the brick, like, as long as we screen this and we only see the brick up there. But, I think she likes seeing that lattice, but in a different form, so
Mhm.
we'll talk further about that,
cool.
Okay, so are we gonna vote on anything here?
Yes. I'm writing it down, and Judy's gonna submit
A revised,
revised drawings.
thank you.
Okay, So, the application has been modified to two things. Raising the rear roof to align with the front roof, and modifying the wall construction to create this outdoor deck on the side, on the back end of the building.
And then we'll show what's existing versus what's new, and then you said this is all too much information, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is all nice and good, and, you know, you can either, you know, put it on the layer and delete it, or, you know, hide that layer, or you can make it all gray so it doesn't, you know, jump out at you that much.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff, for example, no cooking in cafe, you know, as far as we're concerned, that it's neither here nor there.
okay. I think we were just trying not to create multiple versions of the drawings, and I just realized something over here too. There's a thermal bridge, major thermal bridge happening here, so we would have to break that. So long story short, I think this is all new also, because in light of big scheme, this has gotta be, you know, insulated, and this is new. I mean, nothing else is standing, that little lip.
So what standard is this being built to in terms of, you know, insulated construction? Is this full passive house?
In the spirit of passive house, yeah. We're not doing any energy modeling, and we took the insulation as far as we can, you know, looking at what can get wet, and what's the maximum thickness that we can lose interior-wise. So that's,
All right, so that's the application. Do I have a motion that we approve raising the roof at the back and creating the outdoor deck on the back of the building?
I will move that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
thank you.
Aye.
And then we'll also provide this section, you know, for your better understanding.
Well, I wouldn't worry about that,
That's
just,
phase
yeah, I think for these two things, I think plan and elevation, the rear elevation and the side elevation. So, plan, rear elevation, and it could be this, but I mean, you know, like I said, you can, the front, you can make it, gray, so it's not, doesn't stand out, but the back, it does,
So that's all we sent to the building inspector at this point?
yeah,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, so you're also approving the concept of the ramp as well as all the fenestration openings? Because whatever we're gonna do it tomorrow night, so we're gonna have a site plan, obviously we're gonna show the ramp and show the ingress and egress of the building. The building and the whole phasing only functions if the building actually functions, right? You know, because obviously it's just gonna come back to you in a later phase that, you know, may happen soon, may happen late, may happen never. So the building needs to function off of the ramp in ingress and egress. If the front elevation turns out to only be a change in, you know, in windows and doors, if she's not able to purchase the land from the village.
To answer your question, no. Right now, all we approved was raising, the back and creating that little niche in the corner.
What about the concept of the ramp and, we don't have to approve the material per se.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of details that need to be worked out in the front, and I think we would be better off handling that. And realistically, if we approve, we cannot refuse an ADA ramp.
Right. Understood, yeah.
So-
Okay. Right. That's fine.
Yeah, and we tried putting it in the front, it will encroach on the sidewalk and.
Well, yeah, I mean, realistically, you know, that's a logical place, and does anybody have any objection to it? I mean, we can't approve it because we don't know the details, how it's all gonna look, you know, when it's built, but, you know, certainly we, you know, I think it makes sense that the ramp be there.
That's the only place, I mean, everything's edge to edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only place you can do.
So then in terms of planning board, I mean,
We'll show it on the site plan as an ADA ramp,
okay,
and it's the only ingress and egress. So when we look at life safety, those, those doors and at least the fenestration with respect to the doors and the existing windows, obviously, are what exists.
yeah.
But all the use of the building is through the ramp.
Mhm. Yeah.
For a front entrance to be added at some point in the future, a stoop, if everything goes through with the village board.
Because the back deck maintains that CMU wall, it's not considered a egress?
It'd be egress, it's probably what do they call it, safe rescue, or you basically, you can't really get off the property.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you could actually go there to wait to be rescued.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't, is it because you have to climb over a 4-foot wall, or is it because it abuts the property line, so it's not considered?
Well,
Yeah.
You can only egress onto property that you can control. Anything
Right,
else is not
exactly.
considered egress.
Sure.
yeah.
Because somebody could put something
Yeah.
there.
Right, theoretically, the owner of the adjacent property can build a 10-foot wall, and then what?
Sure. Well,
And you're stuck.
they'd have to get approval from that.
Yeah.
Building a 10-foot wall on your lot line is something that has to
You'd
be
probably have to get an
approved.
emergency,
CMU 10-foot
you'd probably
wall.
have to get an emergency access easement
No,
from
it
your
would-
adjacent property
It
owner.
would be ZBA giving a variance for that would be the risk. Not us.
All right,
Cool.
Alright.
Great.
Thank you. At
In
least,
progress.
we can, exactly, at least we can move
all right.
forward with that.
Do you think you'll have it this weekend? Should I look for it, or
When's our
give you
voting
another
session?
week?
Just so that I have a chance to review it, I think early next week is when we
All
can
right,
get
well,
it.
then just drop it off, and I'll take care of the following week, the weekend, usually that's when
Not one that
I
I
do.
can see for now.
Thank
Uh,
you. So,
May 12th. June 12th.
so
unless
if
we
I
meet the
submit it,
22nd.
next,
That'd be the closest one, yeah.
early next week or middle of next week, that,
might
that's
think
still
you
within
guys-
the
Meeting on the
cycle
22nd?
of,
Yeah, because then
Thanks.
you're,
Right.
right,
thank
Bye.
you,
good
thank you
night.
so much.
Yep.
We have a standards meet, we have a,
Oh, I didn't have that in my calendar.
no, we just have a regular monthly workshop on the 22nd.
Okay, I'll go.
okay.
Well, the
Thank you.
14th, we have a design
Awesome.
standards, right?
On
The
the
14th?
Yeah, this
The
month.
15th? Wait, okay.
Today's what, the 7th or 8th?
Today's the 8th.
Today's the 8th.
8th, okay, so the 15th, we have design standards.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't have that either.
No, we had emails going back
Oh, it was
and
the
forth.
email discussion, that's why I didn't.
I thought it was
Okay.
the 22nd and the 29th. Were the, it was the 15th and the 29th?
Okay,
I had to check again.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
okay.
Night.
Same to you.
Bye.
What time are we meeting?
We can meet at 8 if Al is able to join.
I can't make the 15th, I can tell you right now.
Well, if he can't make the 15th, should we meet at 7?
Is that
Uh,
all?
Hmm?
Is that all?
We
No, they're
can,
No.
I mean, I think 7:30 is a little bit
You decide what you
easier,
need.
because
Just a
then,
little earlier, it's
yeah.
Because
because
I'm
then I can
gonna-
actually
She can only give me
eat
the
dinner.
eat dinner, I
And I
know.
screwed that up.
The 29th, I'm
Got
gonna
the
be
alarm go with
abroad,
so
so
embarrassing.
Nice, where are you
you
going?
guys can meet with me or without me.
Okay.
Just, hang on.
Hmm.
So we loading that? Should we talk about minutes?
Yes, let's talk
Oh,
about
let me-
minutes.
Give you your minutes. Okay, these are not.
The 16 Stone Street, the one that you had like this, the weird thing on the front of it. I just don't know what the date of that.
Hold on, let me get
Is
these
that
in
my
front, because I'm not
printout?
gonna be able to keep. Oh, you have it, you have your own printout?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my God.
that's 313.
313, right.
Okay, hold on, let me just get this in front of me. So, I'm sorry, which one are you talking about?
The one that's the 16 Stone Street.
16, I think that was 313.
No, 313 was.
Yeah.
So this is 6
This
Chestnut,
is 313.
but this isn't really 313. This is that one that you said was like not printing properly.
Why is it? Wait a minute. Oh my god. Hold on. Does it have the wrong date on it?
I think it has the wrong like everything on it.
Well, there's a 41019 up here and a 313
You know what
here.
it was? I had all these windows open and I think something got copied and pasted. Okay, hold on. I've got something major to fix here. Hold on.
Wait, which is the what's the first agenda item for the 410 that you're looking at, Carolyn?
Well, it's 410 up here, but it's 313
Okay,
here.
hold on. I have my notes
And then
in front
this
of me.
says 313 here.
Something,
Okay.
I was moving stuff around.
So is
and
this 313
something's-
or 410?
Something got completely screwed up. Hold on. Let me look back.
If I could say, the 410 starts with 16 Stone Street. The
Okay.
313 starts with 6
6 Chestnut, okay.
Oh, okay,
This
that's what I
is
thought.
313 then. Okay, so this is
So
correct.
this is 410. Nice.
So then I need to find the minutes that say 410. They are not 410.
And then the 417 starts with 191 Main.
Okay, hold on.
Right, which is the one that you didn't circulate that one. So I'll have to write that up.
Hold on. I might.
Or Mike, were you here for the 17th?
I wrote minutes, I must have been.
That was when we looked at the shed and then we went into standards.
Oh, it looks like
Yeah,
Okay.
I printed this. My printer was freaking out. Looks like I didn't print.
That's okay. I have copies of everything if you want to print. them.
Okay.
Why don't you? Because Andrea wasn't at the meeting on the 17th.
This is. I printed the wrong copy.
So why don't you, if you can email me the minutes that you wrote, and then I'll present them for.
write your email on there for me.
Sure.
Whoops.
Sean, it looks like these are the same.
No, 16 Stone Street.
So we started with 6 Chestnut and 16.
No, this is
Wait.
just some weird
this
thing
is
that
old.
was like, that's some weird bullshit that was like stuck on your file that you sent me. So this is actually,
Oh,
this is the meeting, this is 410, and it starts with
and it
16
starts
Stone Street.
there. Okay.
This
okay.
is 313, and it starts with 6 Chestnut. This
Okay, you know what
is-
happened? I think
go to the top.
I had all my
Yeah.
windows open and I must have copied and pasted something while I was flipping things around. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this.
We can't vote on this one anyway, because
Yeah.
Wait, this one here, the old business 126 Main?
Yeah,
it-
6
it's
Chestnut.
not. It doesn't continue on the next
Doesn't
page.
end it.
Did I
Yeah,
shuffle? I'm sorry. Today was such a scramble in my personal life. Nothing is working today.
Yeah, you don't have this, Caroline?
No.
So no, I think the pages got mixed up because this thing seemed. Okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
Fucking.
Let me copy all the ones that you sent to me because I
410.
printed them.
410. No one has 410 in front of them. 410 is 16 stone, 14 stone.
That's the second
Did the
page.
pages get shuffled?
No, that's the second page of this. There's not, the rest of 313 isn't here, and the first page of 410 isn't here.
I don't know how this happened. I don't know. I was frantically printing things off before I left, and I must have.
Because actually, the stuff that I saw, with the exception of that one that
This
started
looks
with the blank
wrong.
page,
Yeah, the one that started with the blank page. That's how things started getting. Okay, and then 31 Market.
yeah, it was only that one that was all
I don't know.
screwed
My
up.
printer was malfunctioning. Like
Yeah, I know-
scrambling to
I
get
know-
out the door.
I know how that is. I mean, my
It
printers went nuts
just,
a couple
it's
of
like
weeks ago,
everything was
so-
going wrong.
Alright, so why don't I just
Springtime,
copy,
printers go nuts.
should I just copy the ones that I printed out for those 2 dates and we can talk about them?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
okay.
Thank you.
You'll all get my notes.
I just printed the same thing over and over and over again. Ugh. Okay, wait a minute. No, you know what? Screw this whole pile. I'm not dealing with it. Okay, so here's what we need to do. Alright, Al, I sent you minutes to post
Yeah,
that I noticed were not posted.
I will get those out.
Well, I probably dropped that. Okay, and then there are other agendas, so, 4/17, I wasn't there, and we had a meeting, on January 9th, that's also, you know, I look at the agendas and I look at the minutes to make sure everything's matching up. January 9th, I wasn't there, so, Michael, were you there? Did you send them to Kathleen, maybe?
January 9th?
Yeah, sorry to bug you with this, but
That's been
trying
sitting
to-
in my file for a long while.
you may have sent them to Kathleen, because I wasn't there, I hadn't been there for like a month.
That's right, you weren't there, so I sent it to Kathleen.
Okay, so those, I'll just follow up with Kathleen on that.
How about, what was the other one, April?
17th, I was
17th, how
not
about-
there, and I think it was like a shed workshop.
It was just one project, a shed at 191 Main
Yeah.
Street, and then the meeting was adjourned, and then you guys talked about standards.
Yeah, I wasn't present for that meeting, so
Okay.
you have minutes written up for that meeting, or?
Yes, the 17th, so I'm gonna send it to Sean.
Okay, so those are going to Sean, alright, I'm just trying to keep track of who to follow up.
All right, while we're waiting for Sean to come back,
Okay,
stockade fences in the back. I mean, my feeling is, I don't have any problem with it. Now, if I remember correctly, didn't we, because when they had asked once about the zoning board wanted to have as part of their zoning ordinance, that panel needs to be to the outside of the post. And we said, no, it's gotta be on the center line of the post. So,
Thank you.
This is,
if we do,
thanks.
if we do change the standards so that they, we allow solid fences, we need to decide, you know, is it, where are we willing to accept it? Are we willing to accept it in the front? Are we willing to accept it on, just in the back? How about the side lot lines and so on? I mean, I think we need to have an idea of what it is so that we, you know, at least when we can give direction to applicants when they come. And it should be in the design standards.
yeah, I think that would be helpful. I mean, I also think it would be good if we, in verbalizing that, we looked around the village and saw the fences that do exist and whether they were approved or not approved, and kind of see the different contexts and.
Well, I can tell you the argument that was made by the other board members. Like I said, I didn't especially care one way or another, but the argument was that if you have it in the back, it's sort of like blocking off views of your neighbors.
A little bit
And
spite fence.
my feeling is that, you know, maybe that's a good idea sometimes.
Well, no, but in most circumstances, if your neighbor is another residential property, you're limited to 4 feet.
Yeah.
Okay? And so while, you know, yeah, it may be kind of unfriendly, but 4 feet, you know,
Mhm.
it's the code.
Yeah, but I think to Al's point, it would be wise for us to have a standard or a guideline of dealing with those fences which are allowed to be over 4 feet, that get the variances, so that it's not just
No, I think, I
You know.
agree on that.
a stockade fence.
Well, I think the
Parts
pointy
and
stockades
style.
are absolutely forget about it.
I think so too, but that's what I think of stockade fences.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I consider the alternative we saw today, I consider that a paneled fence, I don't consider that a stockade fence.
Well, I think that the issue, I have a hard time believing that anybody would advocate for a stockade fence in your description where it's a split log with a sharp point on the top.
There are some in the village. you know.
Yeah, and if they were being sold for $15 a panel at Home Depot, then there probably would be lots of applications
Okay,
for them.
so-
I think it's just that I think the quality of fence offered by Home Depot has increased since the time that the standards were written.
Well, the thing is that, we're all in agreement that the stockade fence, the log with the pointed
The
tip,
oldie.
is not something which we will allow in the village. What we are talking about are opaque fences. In other words, we've got two versions. One is that it's a solid panel, and again, as we were talking about before, you have the posts, and what we're saying is the fence needs to go on the center line of the post, from post to post to post, right?
I think that's always the case, that we
Yep.
insist on that. And but why did the ZBA want it applied to the post?
They want it to the outside of the post, and their thought was, you have a good side and a bad side of the fence. And so they didn't want people putting the good side on their side, so that your neighbor now is looking at the back of the
post.
fence.
But even with the
Okay.
type of fence that Sussman showed today, that fence I don't think has a good and bad side. I think that,
No.
I
Right,
think
well,
it's the
that's,
same.
that was the whole point about, being on the center line, there is no good or
Yeah.
bad side. So, and I guess, maybe that should be pointed out in the standards, is that, the assumption is both sides of the fences are
Match.
equally, have the same aesthetic.
Finished.
Except they don't in picket fences, but
Shall we
Let's
talk
dig
about
in,
Picket
these?
fences.
because one of these is
Yeah.
pretty meaty. Because we talked about the
Right.
fence at, I can't remember anything tonight, Market Street.
So for 313, under new business, I'm just gonna, my notes are now copied on yours, but the applicant, the second bullet for new business, the applicant is not proposing,
because it's already
because
built.
it's already there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
point,
the
good
shed
point.
is, or you can say the structure
Shed
is.
is, got it.
And in the
And the-
second to last point, only the roof can be seen from Academy Street, and I just think that we should say that no other part of the shed is visible from any other public right of way or something like that.
Okay,
Okay, the third bullet on that property, applicant walked around village, complimentary is complimentary, not plimentary, it's with an E
oh,
on an I.
whoops, didn't catch that.
And the last bullet, board members agree, oral.
Got it,
Those are my only thoughts.
okay.
On the 126 Main, are we there yet? Yes, okay.
Mhm.
The third bullet, is something missing there? It says a logo sign will be similar.
Oh,
Meaning,
I must
meaning
have-
die cut painted metal, or what?
Gotcha. It looks like I deleted something to fix it and then,
No,
Yeah.
I think that's what I have in my original. I think it's referring to the bullet above.
Okay, so it'll be the same
It'll be
material
a
and fabrication.
standoff.
oh, I see, okay, I see how you were trying to write that,
Okay,
okay,
with the
so
pin
be
mounted thing?
similar to,
Similar in
Pin.
appearance.
Yeah,
in appearance, to pin mounted sign.
Or
Die cut sign.
or in fabrication and mounting or something.
I think you can just take the second one and just say the,
Signage will be die.
well, you can just say that the signage will be a logo and the name of the store in die cut painted enamel metal.
Got it.
Because signage doesn't necessarily refer to
Should I
the,
say like a vinyl logo, or just?
no, because it's not vinyl.
Yeah.
It's, cause they got two things approved. They did get
Right. They got the
vinyl
vinyl
letters.
logos will be applied to
Yeah.
okay, so that's noted down. Okay, yeah, I'll leave it like that.
So just specify that
Yep.
it's the individual letters of the name of the company and a logo of the
Got it.
yarn is all gonna be metal.
Signage and logo. wait, I'm sorry, how do we wanna say that? The signage, ugh,
Well, okay, because the signage refers to all of the ways that the
Right.
business is decorated. So what Michael was getting at with these 2 points is that
the
the
signage,
signage
comma,
is
a
well, the
logo,
signage is
comma.
consisting of the store name in die cut letters and a logo of the yarn.
So I'm writing the signage, comma, a logo, comma, and die cut painted enamel. No, see, that doesn't make sense now.
No, you can just say, it's, we don't need to say the signage. The signage is the problem.
Okay.
So cross out the signage and just
A
say
logo, a die cut,
a
die cut,
die
Logo.
cut painted enamel metal logo
logo. Okay,
with
that-
separate
yeah.
7-inch high letters
Okay.
mounted to the
Now it's
building
fixed.
facade. Or, well, so, it's gonna have to say a die cut painted enamel metal
Yeah.
logo with separate 7-inch high letters will be pin mounted to the building facade. And then that next one you can cross out.
Got it. Okay.
I would move to accept these as modified.
Just make her stop.
Just 313.
Okay,
2-foot
Where-
tub.
20 the Boulevard,
Hello?
where are we?
I'm just trying to think how they're gonna build a 2-foot tub in those buildings.
I'm not, because I'm focusing on the minutes that we're reviewing right now. But I will probably be thinking about
20
that as I fall
Boulevard.
asleep tonight.
I'm not gonna think about it at all.
Not my
20
problem.
the Boulevard, we mentioned in the heading that it was also window reconfigurations, and then we only talk about the porch railing after that. I would simply say that, changes to interior plans required modifications to window locations, and the material and manufacturer remain the same, or something like that.
Okay, hold on. Modification improvements.
Yeah, weren't the revised drawings, more than just porch railing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was also, they moved some windows around.
Okay, I'll add another bullet.
I think they actually eliminated one window and then they moved a couple others around.
So due to interior.
Well, that and also they, what they did was it used to be an open porch and they closed it.
Okay.
No, they added railings to it,
Right.
They changed the railings.
which we talked about, and then the glazing for the porch is removable panels that are
Like
placed
storm windows.
They put a railing,
essentially, but they're not year round.
they put a railing, around kind of like the base of where all the panel, all the like, because they were just thinking a kid will just like run right into it. So I'll. The porch railing is now child proof. The porch railing. Adding a porch railing. There we go, okay, fixed it.
I will again move to accept the 313 minutes as modified.
And I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now the next one is a little crazy.
I'm sorry.
So the next one is 410,
It's 410.
Yes,
and so we're starting with.
okay,
we're
so I
starting
wrote,
with
I
new
wrote
business.
start here,
Okay,
because this, I think something cut and pasted, and then I tried to fix it tonight, and it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
just-
But it looks
fix
like,
it
we
like
know where
you
we
cut
are.
and paste like a PDF or something into it.
I
So,
don't know, I had so many windows open.
in the second bullet, under 16 Stone Street, we should name the applicant
I see,
Travis Fife.
Yep.
Thinks that a brick wall complements, but
Mhm.
it's compliments.
Yep, misspelled again,
with an E.
alright, got it.
And I wanted to be a little generous and just say that the age and the patina of the brick will match the brick, I think we can say used
Used elsewhere.
elsewhere in the
Yeah, yeah.
neighborhood,
No, it's on
because
their houses.
we're not mandating that it match their house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then for 14 Stone Street,
Well, no, existing leader pipe to be relocated. I don't know if he said that.
Where?
Yeah, he did.
he did.
Well, he
He,
said,
it was the bottom of it.
Yeah,
I know, but I mean, what he said was that it pitches up. Because what he was showing was running a pipe all the way to the back.
I remember that. Okay, so what do you want it to say? Rerouted?
No,
It's the leader, it's not
question-
the leader pipe, it's actually where the leader pipe drains.
Right,
Yeah.
the storm drain, how about, something like the storm drainage is being revised? Or not the storm, yeah, the storm drain, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not sewer.
Okay.
You can say the existing leader pipe is to be connected to a relocated storm pipe or storm drain.
Okay.
Still don't know how he's gonna do that.
Existing
But it's not
leader
our job.
will, I'm sorry, existing leader will
Be connected
be connected.
to a relocated storm line, or the storm pipe, storm drain.
To a storm.
Don't hurt yourself, Al.
Storm
I
collection
know,
unit.
I've had a long day today.
Okay.
Isn't every day a long day? 24 hours, I mean, that's a long day.
Okay, so for 14 Stone Street, I think we should, the motion was not to approve contingent on ZBA action, it was that we actually approved
Two versions.
we approved a 4-inch version
Mhm.
and a 4-foot version, but
Mm-hmm.
but I think that it wasn't it taller than 4'4"? Was that how tall the first version was that he showed?
I have to look it up.
I think it was bigger. Well,
I seem to remember 4-4, but
maybe it was. The existing fence was 4'4", and then maybe on top of that it had really tall posts. I thought it was much higher than
okay, hold on.
what you were showing. Oh.
Wait, you just think it was higher, or he
I
Said it was
recall.
higher.
I recall it being higher.
410? Okay, 14 stone. Applicant would like us to approve both a 4-foot fence. We have to go for the zoning board to address because the existing fence is over 4 feet. I remember the conversation. Fence will stand beyond the original run. Applicant will have to. The existing fence is over 4 feet.
It's 4'10" and a half.
Okay. And 4 feet, 4 feet. Okay, so. Okay. We voted to approve both heights, approve designs for both heights,
Yes.
pending zoning approval. So we have the wrong height noted here, is that,
Well, it's not that it's even.
wasn't it something
pending-
about the way it ran, like up the grading or something?
No, it was just that it was tall.
Okay, so what am I fixing?
Um,
4 foot
as
eight.
existing fence is, I would say rather than saying 4 feet over, 4 inches over the 4-foot height limit, I would just say as existing fence is 4 foot, what did I say, 10 inches? Four foot 10.5 inches. The project may be presented to the ZBA for a variance.
Okay.
And then for 31 Market Street, for the light fixtures, I don't know, it's under old business. Proposal for exterior light fixtures on guest cottages, guest
I'm
cottage?
sorry, you're saying 31 Market Street?
Yeah, 31.
Okay.
I think that was a, it was a modification,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was a modification to a previously approved
Okay.
application.
Got it.
191 Main Street,
Yeah.
Dutch style shed. That wasn't a gambrel roof.
Wait, where is this? 191 Main, okay.
Old business?
previous one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
just a shed roof.
Dutch.
Yeah, just
That's
scratched out.
how he described it, so that's what I wrote down. Okay,
Well,
so
a Dutch
Gordon.
style is typically a gambrel.
Yeah, so take
Okay,
out Dutch
okay,
style.
so Gordon Bat, but we'll keep Gordon Batten
Yeah.
shed.
Yeah,
I just take out the Dutch style.
Okay.
Okay, in the 29 to 35 Market Street, under the discussion,
Mm-hmm.
please note that the chair pees.
and
The
so do I.
proposed fence doesn't relate to any of the other buildings, it's just in there twice.
Oh.
So
Okay,
I crossed
Yes,
it.
that's right, doesn't.
get rid of that.
I don't think it needs to be, I don't think we need to belabor that point.
Well, I've got a question. The uniqueness of the property must be acknowledged, i.e. proximity to the Metro North train station and national. I mean, all.
All
it's
of Market Street
all-
is.
Yeah, I mean, all of the buildings in the area have that same quality, so why is that so unique?
Well, I think more
I-
so that it's just unique,
Because
It's
it's next
unique
to
for
the
the
chapel.
yeah,
Then
it's
it must be
unique
true.
within the district. Not that it's unique up on upon the street
Okay, do you
it
want me to
sits
just-
on, but it's
I can just cross it out.
a unique situation within the district.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think it needs to be crossed out. I think that's not a value judgment. It is just a statement.
Hold on. Okay.
On the continuing on that for the in the motions,
Oh, I see that,
we
yeah,
had a full quorum, so we don't
Yeah,
need
I don't know why it-
the zeros.
yeah.
Oh, but by the way, the last bullet on that item,
Mm-hmm.
Applicant
referred
offered
to-
adjust.
we refer to gate 3, and then in approving that, we also call it gate 3. There aren't 3 gates, there are 2 gates. So it's gate, there was gate 1 and gate 2.
Okay. wait a minute.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's gate 2 and
Gate two.
3 fences.
Made a motion to approve.
3 fences, where do we get 3 fences?
Well, he was just they had on their
Okay, so-
drawing it was in 3 parts.
Wait a minute, so
Oh.
so you, Sean, made a motion to approve, cross out gate 3,
Make it gate 2.
gate 2.
But it's also up here.
Okay, I'm
The
gonna
last
find it,
bullet.
hold on.
The last bullet, above, last bullet.
Mhm.
It's gate 3 someplace in
Oh,
there.
there it is, okay. Okay.
We also just need to reflect that 2 Locust Ridge
Mm-hmm,
we did not review in workshop. we reviewed it,
I-
it was an
yeah,
application.
I wasn't sure whether to move that or, I
We just did
noticed
it
it,
last because,
and I didn't know whether to move it or not, so should I just move it into, wait, so,
Yeah, it's new business.
wait a minute, do we already have a new business?
well,
Doesn't look like it.
I
Old
mean, new
business
business should
discussion.
technically have come first.
Well, that was my
but-
problem, I didn't know if I should move the whole thing, but that wasn't the sequence of events that night, so
Yeah.
do I just make a new header there?
Oh, wait, so is 33 Market Street the replacement of the entrance portico? That was workshop?
That was work.
Okay, yeah. The thing is, I didn't know if I could reorder the sequence of events. I know that news business should, is typically listed first, but that's not how it happens, so I didn't know whether or not I should.
Yeah, but the
Just
minute, I
have new
don't think,
business twice.
Can I have new business twice?
I mean, what's more
I don't know
important,
if
that it's
we-
in order or
Did
that
we even
it's-
have new business? Oh, we had new business with 16 Stone, right?
I've
Yeah.
got a question, and,
I just don't know what the rule is.
in, previous minutes, what we've included a statement as to, why people voted against something.
Okay.
And, I'm just wondering, because, on some of
I
these
usually
things.
do.
Huh?
Like if you dissent,
Yeah.
and give a specific reason why, and you usually do. I
Right,
try to
because-
include that. Am I
Yeah.
missing one?
The fence discussion has no explanation.
Because on most of these things where, it's 4-0, 5-0, 3-0, then, there's really no reason to make any sort of statement, but I think that where you do have
I thought I
somebody
had.
voting against it, we
Mhm.
should identify who that is and why they.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Where,
Well, it would be Market Street.
I'm looking at, okay. Hold on.
So, S. Conway made a motion to approve fence and gate number 1 as submitted, Kay fully seconded, and the motion passed 3-2.
Right.
So Al and Carolyn voted
against.
against.
Okay, hold on.
And-
I'm like losing. Okay,
Okay, back to this, no,
Back
no,
here,
no,
no.
no.
discussion.
After the discussion,
So
next page.
we should email you,
Here.
a sentence or
Okay.
two.
Oh, it was there, okay. Okay, I didn't do it there because I felt like I included all that
Well,
information in the discussion.
I think the
So-
discussion's fine, but I think that,
All right, well, if you email me,
yeah, I'll email you
What you wanted to
one or
say.
two sentences max, why I voted against it, and Carolyn, if you could do the same thing.
okay.
Well, we basically have the same reasoning
Okay.
on those things, so.
I'll email it to the, both of you, and if
Okay.
you wanna modify it in any way, then, 4-1, that was me, right? Now fence number 2, is that the,
Gate number 2?
the chain link?
Oh, fence number 2. Okay.
No, because I'm gonna have to look.
I think fence 2 is the metal.
Hmm?
I think fence 2 is the metal one, but I should have noted it, I just didn't catch that.
Yeah, fence
No.
2 is the metal one, and fence 1 is the one with gate 1.
You know what, I have it in my notes right here. I should have just looked here.
Right, and the garage door was 3-2, I
Hold
thought.
on, I can look
That
at
was the
this,
only
because
one.
I know I wrote it.
Yeah.
No, I voted against the garage door also.
Alright. 31 Market.
It should be on that site plan,
Yeah.
up front.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, so this is confusing. So they're calling the horizontal wooden fence between the cottage and the guest house, fence 1 and gate 1.
Mhm.
They're calling the running galvanized steel agricultural fencing, fence 2.
Okay, so this is all wood.
This is all wood. That's fence 1, gate 1.
Okay, all wood.
The metal fencing is fence 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then the vehicular entry wood horizontal is gate 2,
And that's all wood.
but they've labeled it 3 on the site plan. So that's why it's confusing. So
Okay,
it's,
but gate 2 is
so it's
also
gate 2, but it's in position 3.
the wood.
That's what,
Okay, I just want to be able to fix that.
All right, so, well,
So-
should we call it how it's labeled?
we should call it how it's labeled in here, which is how we voted on it.
Right. Well, except
could
it would be
say
gate 2.
Gate 2, also known as position 3, on.
I mean,
No, but it's- no,
think if
yeah.
you call it gate 2, it'll correlate with what's there, so
Yeah,
let's
so
just
just
change
call
it to
it
gate 2.
Gate 2, yeah,
Please
gate
just
2.
call it gate 2. Okay,
it is gate 2.
It's gate 2.
it's gate 2. Okay.
So it's so this is correct. So fence 1 is the wooden fence.
Yep.
And that passed 3 to 2.
3 to
You
Okay.
two voted against it.
Fence. Hold on. Fence and gate 1, so should I change this whole?
Just say S. Conway made a motion to approve fence 1 and gate 1 as submitted.
Fence 1, okay, stick the 1 in there, got it. Alright, and gate 1, as submitted.
And the motion passed 3 to 2, and then Al will send you his.
Yeah, we'll send it
Note
to
of
Carol and.
Yes,
and-
this,
And then Kay Foley made a motion to approve fence 2.
2.
That's the metal fencing.
yep, I'll note that,
You seconded,
yep,
and it passed 4 to 1. Al, I guess you also, or who voted? You voted
I
against
voted
it.
against it.
S. Conway made a motion to approve gate 3 as amended, with an increased gap of at least 1 inch between the slats. Kay Foley seconded.
Relocation of the gate, then 3-4 onto the property or 3 to 4?
It should be.
relocation of the gate 3 to 4 feet.
It should be. It should be 3 feet to 4 feet.
Okay,
3 feet to 4 feet.
so I'm missing an apostrophe?
Yeah, just so that
Okay.
it's clear that it's not. And Kay Foley
Well,
seconded.
it should be into the property because it's
Into?
already on the
Into.
property.
Well, I went back, I waffled on that for a while, I wasn't sure.
Oh, into the property. Yeah.
Okay.
And motion passed 3 to 2. With an
Al,
opportunity
Carolyn,
for dissension.
no.
And then the garage door design as submitted passed 3 to 2. Al, you've also voted against the garage doors? Okay. So you'll
So
add,
Al and Carolyn
We know good garage doors when we see them.
both said no. Okay, I'll just
add
note
my
that.
garage.
Okay.
Okay, so then going into the next section,
Mhm.
I think it makes the most sense to just do it in the order that we reviewed everything. So why don't you take this whole 2 Locust Ridge and put it after 33 Market
Okay,
and just label it as new business again.
okay. So move
So 33 Market will be workshop.
to after workshop.
Yeah, and then just call 2 Locust Ridge new business again. That way at least if
What-
somebody's watching the video, they'll be able to see it in the order.
Okay, yeah, well, I just feel like I couldn't move things around, you
Yeah.
know, without telling a different story, so.
And for
Well,
the,
but wait a minute, now 33 Market Street, that was a workshop,
I know.
okay.
So now it's not a workshop, it's new business?
No, no, no,
it
no,
was a
no,
workshop.
then we went back
So
to
we're still-
workshop after Locust Ridge.
Alright, so wait a minute. So now we're not calling this new business. I'm
No.
moving this Two Locust.
No. You leave Locust Ridge where it is.
But it's new
Instead of,
business.
instead of workshop, you label it new business.
I
'Cause
did
we
that.
went back to
Okay,
new
okay,
business.
I
Okay,
already
so,
fixed that.
okay,
So,
then after 2 Locust Ridge, before 33 Market Street, you insert the caps workshop again.
okay,
Because the 33 Market Street was a workshop.
right, okay.
That's correct, but do we want the minutes to reflect the chronological
This
order
is what
that
I
we
was
looked at everything?
trying to say. Yeah, that otherwise we're
Because we reviewed
rewriting.
33 Market before we reviewed 2 Locust Ridge.
I would leave it here in its chronological position because I think it gets really confusing otherwise.
Well,
It's
what
like
Sean is saying is that it's not in the correct
It's
chronology.
not? Okay.
No, it's
Because
not.
we did Market Street first.
Alright, so
So
it's,
I think we should just have Market Street labeled as a workshop first, and then 2 Locust Ridge labeled as new business second.
okay, let me find the place. Okay, I see 31 Market, wait, old business.
33 Market.
It's 33 Market, it was just the discussion of the
No, okay.
portico.
At the end of the long discussion about the gates and the fences, which
Right.
were 29 to 35. Okay, at the end of that, that is where you're gonna put in the caption workshop again, and you're gonna put in 33 Market Street.
Okay.
And workshop will be spelled correctly this time. It was workshop. And then you put in new
Wait,
business
okay.
and have Locust Ridge in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it new business. Two Locust. It will go here. It will say no business.
Mhm. Um, I think that we should hold off on voting on this until after we submit our dissent.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
In the 2 Locust Ridge section 2, I just think we should say it was
Yeah, I see your
4
correction
to
here.
0 with,
Yeah,
and just note that she was
Abstaining.
abstaining.
I see that.
Okay.
On the 21 Parsonage Street board business thing, I think what the owner's attorney comment was, the third bullet, was that it was not a contributing structure.
Yeah.
Let me look up what exactly he claimed to say, because
You mean his exact words?
well, because if I recall correctly, he was misrepresenting the information that he got. So let me just read what Aaron wrote to us.
When was that? 4:10?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think we were quoting from an email that Aaron sent to Kathleen.
Right, that's what I'm looking for.
My phone doesn't work here, so.
Okay, so what he actually said was, the applicant's lawyer represented that the HDRB stated that the barn is more or less historically not a factor. Is that correct?
Oh, so it
Right.
wasn't that it was contributing, it was that he said that we said so.
He said that we said that it was more or less historically not a factor, which is not really a thing we ever
Alright,
would
am I gonna put that in a quote?
Well, let me just read how we're presenting it. So,
Well, I think that for the minutes, why don't
Do you
you
even
forward the email to Andrea and let
I
her
think I
just.
have it.
yeah.
Well, but, you know,
Yeah, let me just copy it.
I don't know about you, but I can't even go back on to April 10th. I got too many other emails.
Well, his email came, or maybe a week earlier than
Yeah.
that.
That way, and, you know, I would quote it because, something like that, I think that, you know, you wanna get as fact.
Okay,
that
so
is
I'm gonna say the
fact.
owner's attorney has commented that the HDRB,
Well, Sean, just email.
Yeah, I'm just gonna email you
Suggested.
Aaron's email to
Yeah.
Kathleen and Al with his questions, and then we should just,
Put it in quotes.
well, we
that's
should
what
just
I'm
rephrase those 3 bullet points so that it's clear that we're duplicating. Because right now it says that during the discussion it was noted that
alright, how would I say,
but
during the discussion, God, I had it in my head, now I lost it. During the discussion,
well, what we wanted
Why
to
don't
say
you
is,
Board-
why don't you say,
board
the board discussed the points,
correspondence,
the following 3 points raised by the.
Aaron Wolf.
Aaron Wolf.
okay,
yeah.
okay,
The board discussed the following 3 points raised by the chairman of the ZBA.
discuss the following 3 points raised by.
Now, you're only gonna need these 2, you're not gonna, are you going to need to keep 15 May now?
No, wait.
Can I put that one back?
Yeah, because realistically, I'm not going to.
Not until she
She,
produces more drawings, right?
well,
Yes.
hang on,
Right.
let me,
Okay.
because,
Okay, and then what else? I caught that
you know
on the,
what? All
Or you
right,
take the full files of them.
I'll take the full file.
Okay, and I can put
And
this one
much
back.
to Kathleen's horror, but I'll take the full file.
Okay.
April 26th minutes, was the expedient sign review. I forgot to mention who was there, so I will fix that.
Okay.
Can we vote on those?
Yes, because there's
You were
3 of
there,
us.
I was there, Carolyn was there, so
We can vote.
we could vote on that.
Which minutes are we talking about now?
April 26th.
I wrote them up, because it was a sign review.
I'm
We
sorry,
don't
what?
need anything else from the planner, do we?
Okay, so the minutes we voted on were at 3:13. Alright, table 410,
Was I there for that meeting?
No,
No.
it was
No,
just
this
it was
was-
just over at the coffee shop.
Okay.
4 of us were there, Al was not there.
yeah, we can vote on this.
Do I have a motion on the minutes for what date?
We
Six.
can't do it until Karen's back here.
410,
No.
this?
No,
Oh,
April 26th.
okay. Oh my god.
And I don't wanna see any receipts for coffee as part of board business.
We won't give them to you because they weren't open.
Oh.
Okay, I would move to accept the minutes for April 26th as modified.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
I abstain, since I was not there. What do we do about the cider?
Wait, we have two more.
But, we have some more.
The hooch.
You drink it. I'm gonna take my bottle.
I
Okay,
think we're
wait a
allowed-
minute, 424 was a workshop.
Yeah, and the only change that I have was
Mhm.
that it was the meeting was called to order at 8 p.m., not 10 a.m.
Yeah,
I
And
remember that.
I thought that I was there. Wasn't I there?
wait a minute. Did I delete them?
Which one is this?
I was cutting and pasting so many things.
What's the date?
It was
Maybe it's,
424?
No, it was Wednesday. It was a Wednesday.
Were you away?
Design
Hold on,
standards.
hold on. Oh, God.
Now here
Can
it
you
says
check
a
your calendar?
workshop.
Yeah.
Was the workshop 420, is 424 Wednesday?
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
let me check.
424
Yeah, it was Wednesday.
HDRB Wednesday night workshop.
I think I was not at this one.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
Why did I write that?
All right. Well, we can't vote on it anyway then.
Okay,
Okay.
Carolyn was not there.
Mm-hmm.
You were.
I was.
So why
What
can't you-
about 4? Oh, and 414. We can't vote on this one either because Al was not there and I was not there.
414?
Yeah, there was a 414. It was a Sunday.
Oh,
I
okay.
just I just took year one from 424 and rewrote it for 414 so we could vote on it, but we can't vote on it because we don't. And Michael said he'd send me the 417, which you were not there for.
Right, okay,
And that was
so
Peter
let me,
Farrell's.
okay, so you have 417.
I will.
Kathleen has January
110.
9th,
Yeah.
so, okay.
all right.
Okay. So we'll have to wrap these up next time.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move.
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who's gonna lock up? I'm not gonna
I'll
lock
lock
up. I don't know how to lock up. I already
I will
screwed
lock
up.
up.
Where do you want us to put the cider? Does anybody want,
I'll take one. Sure.
I'll take one. Evan likes this.
Mr. Sussman's cider.
That was very nice of him.
Oh, it's cute.
Yeah, very cute.
Cold Spring Cider Works. I'll
No,
give this my
shoot, this
sister.
was over here. It's Judy's.
Oh, Long Been Judy's. Oh.
Well,
You can